So check this out. The question comes up often, what influences the prices of personal training, Renton, South Seattle, and Seattle? And there's really kind of like 7 factors that influence the prices of personal training. I want to go over all of them because I think it's important to have clarity when you make a choice about, what you're going to choose for your personal training, whether it's one-on-one, semi-private, small group personal training, which coach, which gym is the best option for you. So I just wanted to give some insight on this topic. And one of the first factors is basically the experience of the coach and or the personal training gym and the track record. What that means is like when you're going to find coaches with, 5 to 15 or more years of experience, they're usually going to be higher priced because they have a track record. I mean, even just, the turnover in the fitness industry for personal trainers is pretty high. So coaches that make it a long time usually do it so because they're good, they have a good retention, they have good results. So having more experience means usually more reliability. So that's definitely one of the factors within that. Now, Vigor Ground Fitness has been around for 17 and a half years in Renton. So we're the longest, I would say, lasting personal training gym in this area. And we've helped now close to like 5,000 clients from our different programs, right? From semi-private personal training to groups and everything of that nature. And so that's one of the things that you want to look at because somebody that's just getting started and is brand new is usually going to have lower rates because they don't have as much experience and they don't have as much of a track record, success stories. And that's going to be one of the influences. So looking for the time of experience matters. Looking for the track record. Again, those are things like success stories, testimonials, Google reviews, word of mouth. Another thing that I've found too is that if other, I would say, professionals, so personal trainers and or gyms, from outside of that area, recommend that gym or personal trainer, that tends to also be a very, very good sign because the peers are saying like, hey, if you want to get great results, like go to this place. So that's in that bucket. Now, the other thing I say is advanced education and certifications. Now, the kind of baseline things, bachelor's and a master's, that does matter. But what matters even more is the continuing education of that gym and or personal trainers. So are they going to courses, certifications, seminars, curious and trying to improve so that they can gain knowledge and expertise to help the clients basically get better results? And that can be in any area that helps the client out. So that's training, program design, things that help them move better, that get them out of nagging pains, nutrition, right? Basically being able to add nutrition coaching and expertise, as well as very specialized things. For example, here at Vigor Ground, we have, specialists in sports performance. I train a lot of high-level professional athletes, high school and college athletes. We have a pre-postnatal, I would say, certified coach and expertise. Again, we have coaches that have very, very high level of nutritional coaching expertise. We have a coach that, let's say, specializes in physique transformations, meaning even for clients that want to get on stage. So that matters. But what's important is asking a personal trainer, first of all, like what knowledge certifications they have, but then what have they learned lately? So, one of the things that we pride ourselves on here at Vigor Ground Fitness and Performance is that we have the most continuing education of any gym in this state. So, since 2008, we've had 160 different seminars, certifications in-house, meaning here. That doesn't even count, I would say, the things that we went to. Me, I've been in the industry for 21 years. I've been to 250, live seminar certifications. I speak a lot around the country and the world on this topic. But the key here is the consistent education. Every 2 years, we run one of the most kind of known and recognized events in the fitness industry called the Vigor Ground Fitness and Business Summit, where we bring the greatest experts in the fitness industry on stage right here in Renton to speak to 250 to 300 coaches and gym owners. So we pride ourselves on the education aspect, helping our coaches become the best possible at their craft, so that they can help the clients get the absolute best results. So that's one of the factors there too. And then specialized, experience. So again, I mentioned that a little bit, But if you're talking about getting people out of back pain, again, I specialize in that, but we also have in-house physical therapy. So we work closely together with physical therapy to craft programs for clients to get out of pain. So we specialize in that, and that makes prices of personal training go up. The less specialties, expertise, and certifications and education there is, that's probably going to bring the price of personal training down. And then high demand, limited availability, right? If a coach, personal trainer, gym is in high demand, and it's a supply and demand thing, but if a coach is great, they're going to have very limited ability. You might even be on a waiting list because they are so good at getting the results. And that's going to drive the prices up. Again, with somebody that's not very experienced, doesn't have a book of business, a lot of retention referrals, they're going to have lower demand and thus a lower price. So that all falls under the bucket of experience, education, and demand. So the second thing that's going to determine the prices of personal training are going to be the session format, right? So basically, the more that you have the expertise, time, energy, and focus of that coach, the higher price it's going to be. So if we're talking about one-on-one personal training is going to be the most expensive, specifically coming to somebody's home. So in-home personal training is going to be more expensive because the time of that trainer to get there and come back, to their home or wherever they're going to another location is going to add time. And so that price is going to be higher. And when you look at the prices of one-on-one personal training in the Seattle area, in the Renton and South Seattle area, is anywhere from $80 to $150 or more per session. And usually where it's going to be $80, the cheapest, is going to be bigger box gyms that have more inexperienced coaches. They're not recognized for personal training per se. And that's where you're going to see that $80 price point. But even gyms like LA Fitness, 24 Hour Fitness, Lifetime, you're going to see those prices climb up to $100 and $105 or more. Whereas in boutique gyms, meaning smaller gyms that are more oriented towards the client, they're more personal training based, the prices are going to be somewhere between $100 to $130 on average, with kind of like I would say top elite coaches squeaking into the $150 or even more, like those top tier coaches. You're going to see that. And that's for one-on-one personal training, right? And that's going to be the highest investment. Going back to, if the coach is extremely good, a lot of experience, a lot of education, a lot of results, you're going to see that higher. And from there, you have semi-private personal training, which is what we specialize here at Vigor Ground. And we were one of the, if not the first gym in Washington State to have a semi-private personal training model. 17 and a half years is how long we've been doing it. And what that means is that you may have anywhere up to 4 basically clients in one session with a customized program. So it is a completely customized program for you, individualized, created for you to get the best results, but the coach is going to coach you and some other clients at the same time. But what that does, it makes it a lot more affordable for the client. So those rates of semi-private personal training in the South Seattle and Renton area range anywhere from $35 to even, $70 or upwards of $70 per session. So what that does, you can see it like it's about half the price, somewhere between, I would say 40 to 60, 65% of the price of a one-on-one session. So what that does is that you can train twice the amount for the same price. And many people find that format, they love it because you have customized programming, customized coaching, you have accountability from the coach, but you also have accountability from the other people that you train with, and you build a community. So we found the best results from that format here at Vigor Ground Fitness and Performance. And again, then you also have small group personal training where the numbers will go more from that 6 to 16. In that, it's more generalized programming. But again, that's going to drop the price again. So depending on what the format is, including large group training, right? Which is, we have metabolic classes that are more conditioning based with more people in them that are basically attached on to your personal training. So that's a really, really big, I would say, benefit of Vigor Ground Fitness and Performance. When you do semi-private training or small group personal training, you get conditioning classes along with it, baked into the same price point. So it's a great value. But those are the things that you look at. One-on-one personal training is going to be the most expensive. And then the frequency of it is going to matter too, which I'm going to talk about a little bit there, right? So the more attention that you get from the coach, you have a one-on-one in that coach's time. That coach can only train you in that time format. And because of that, really limits how many people they can train. They're going to put the most focus on you. There's going to be, again, very dialed in, and that's going to be the most expensive. Whereas semi-private personal training is more affordable. Smaller personal training is going to be even more affordable. And then large group is going to be the cheapest. So the number 3 factor in personal training prices is time, frequency, and commitment. So meaning the very simple, like if you do personal training once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, the price is obviously going to go up and or down. And the thing that you want to look at is also the commitment time. So usually on a month to month, the prices will be higher than if you're doing something like a 3 or 12 month commitment. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is essentially the locking in or security of that coach. For most goals of a client to achieve, it's going to take longer than a couple months. It's usually going to take 6 months, 12 months, at least 3 months, but usually longer periods of time. And so if you commit to that, now you have a locked in kind of schedule and time, and you have more stability with that coach. So it goes both ways, right? And that's going to essentially bring those prices down somewhat. Whereas if it's month to month, there's less stability for that coach. And of course, there's not that locked in time, and those prices are going to go up. Sometimes for certain gyms, there's also like peak times, right? Meaning where between 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8 p.m., depending on the place, and early mornings might be more pricey because that's the busiest times and that coach is the most in demand. So those things are going to matter. What we found is that with our semi-private personal training, our clients that go 2 to 3 times a week, so they have a coach 2 to 3 times a week, are by far the most successful. Now, what's a really big bonus here at Vigor Ground Fitness and Performance, that you get the bonus of getting small group personal training and team training, which are our conditioning classes, baked in. Meaning when you do semi-private personal training, you automatically get access to all of the classes, and soon also having access to the open gym. And that's very exciting because you have a lot of ability to go into classes to get your results while also getting the personal training. Now, the fourth factor is what's included outside of the session. Now, that can be a lot of things. Let me start with this, right? Do you come in just for the personal training session and nothing else? Nothing else is included and available for you. And those are things like a movement screen and assessment. So that would be one example where we get a client in, we basically screen them, assess them. We see how they move. We see where they have restrictions. And our coaches have the expertise to find out and discover what may be a bottleneck for that person. It's part of what helps us build a program that's customized and individualized to that client. So that is an additional service. Are you getting programming outside of the session? So if you're coming in for personal training twice a week, does the coach provide anything else for you besides that? So for example, here at Vigor, we provide you a training app where you will have programming for other days, whether it's conditioning, whether you're coming here to do your conditioning or you're doing it at home, mobility exercises, movement exercises to help you move and feel better. So you'll get access to that. If our clients are on the road, we have a lot of busy professionals that travel. They will get a program to do at the hotel gym. They'll get a program to do in their hotel. So we build the complete roadmap for you to get the results rather than just you're coming in for that training session and that's all that you get. Now, other aspects of it are we do in-body measurements that show you your body weight, your body fat percentage, your lean mass. We even have an upgrade if you want to do a DEXA scan, which is the most precise, I would say, body composition measuring in the industry. We also have VO2 max testing, which is one of the top factors to determine mortality and how healthy and fit you are. So we have a partnership with DexaFit that is inside of Vigor Ground that helps you do that. So that is another service. On top of that, a huge factor is nutrition coaching and guidance. So do they have the expertise and knowledge, and do they have the service to guide you along with your nutrition? Meaning outlining where you are right now, helping you change the way that you're eating, again, guiding on meal plans and all the things of that nature, as well as tracking those things. So at Vigor Ground Fitness and Performance, we have a upsell service that if you want to get nutritional coaching along with your personal training, you can do that. And to be honest, it's the people that are the most successful combine those things. Now, beyond that, we also have testing of, for example, power, speed, outputs. And we have software and hardware like the Hawkin Dynamics force plates that can very precisely determine how high you can jump, your RSI, your acceleration, deceleration, your asymmetries between legs. We have output monitors, dasher speed traps to show your 10-yard acceleration times, how fast you're going in flying 10s. So there's just a lot of other things that can support what you're doing. we also have the ability to outsource blood work. So we have a relationship with Merrick Health where we'll send you to LabCorp, get blood work. We'll get the results through Merrick Health and be able to guide the health aspect of it. And again, we partner with Merrick Health where we kind of like look what's under the hood and then guide that aspect of health. So all of those factors are going to determine the personal training prices. So the less outside support there is, the lower the price is going to be. If all you're doing is coming in for a session, there's nothing else, there's no other support, there's no other things, then the price is going to be lower. The more of that associated support that you have, from nutrition coaching to body assessments, to DEXA scans, InBodies, VO2 max testing, programming outside of the gym, apps to help you support that, the pricing is going to go up. And that's going to be the fourth factor when it comes to personal training prices in Renton and South Seattle. So the number fifth factor is facility, equipment, and location. So more high profile areas, neighborhoods, places where rents are higher and there's more desired and demand, just in general are going to, drive the prices up of the gym and personal training. The other thing is going to be boutique gyms with specialized equipment. So again, wherever there is less of smaller coach to client ratio, meaning the coach can focus on more clients, there's less foot traffic inside of the gym, that's going to drive prices higher. As an example, Big Ground Fitness and Performance is an 8,400 square foot gym when you include the lobby and the fit bar area. And we never intend to go past 250 client/members for this full gym. So the foot traffic is low. It's very client centric. We have a high coach client ratio, meaning we have a lot of coaches to the clients. So there's a lot of focus on the clients, whether it's one-on-one personal training, small group personal training, semi-private personal training. And those factors are going to drive the prices up because the gym and these boutique gyms are very focused on the clients rather than membership fees where you just come and kind of like rent the equipment per se. And again, specialized equipment can be specialized for the person. We specialize in a lot of equipment that's joint friendly, that's really built for results when it comes to personal training, for high level sports performance. Again, I've shared some of the things that we have, from Hawkins Dynamics force plates to DEXA scans to output monitors to dashers to VO2 max testing to InBodies, and on it goes. But all of those are because they're specialized in helping the client achieve sustainable results. From there, what can bring prices down is big box gyms. So the bigger the gym is, the more traffic, the more foot traffic, the less client centric it is. That can bring the prices down, which is why, you'll have gyms that are $39, $49 a month, but those are gyms that are essentially like renting equipment and they have amenities. The amenities factor is going to be a thing too. Again, whether it's cold plunges, there's saunas, there is, like, for example, we have high-priced recovery equipment. We do have InBody that anybody that's doing semi-private training can always do. We have a hyperbaric chamber that people that are very focused on recovery can use. And those different types of amenities, including the DEXAs and VO2 maxes and all those things, are going to drive the prices up and or down. Warehouse-style gyms that are big gyms, they have equipment, but maybe not a lot of specialized equipment. There's no support, no guidance, no coaching. You're going to see lower prices in that. So that's the fifth kind of factor. The sixth factor is going to be who employs the trainer. So the business model essentially of that gym. Like I mentioned before, big box gyms, you're going to get a lower price of personal training because the model of the gym is not to focus on results. It's to get as many members as possible. And a lot of times for that model, they don't want a lot of those members to come to the gym. For example, there's a big box gym down the street that has about 11,000 members. And the frequency of people that come 2 times a week or more is about 2,200 people. So less than, about 20% or so. Now, if there was 30 to 40% of those people coming in, you would have to shut the gym down because it doesn't have the capacity based on, fire code to even have that many people. My point is that those gyms, they sell the membership. They don't necessarily want everybody to go there because the goal is to rent equipment. And that is the model. Whereas gyms that are purely based around results, personal training, performance, they essentially live and die off results, client retention, referrals, and getting those people the results that they require. And so one is going to be higher priced, one is going to be lower priced. Does the gym invest in the coach? Everything from continuing education to benefits to development to skills training, taking them to a higher level of training. And those are going to be all factors that are going to determine that, right? Like, for example, here at Big Ground Fitness and Performance, we're purely client-centric. Our whole mission and model for the last 17 and a half years has been, our tagline on the website is, we help clients change their bodies so they can change the stories to their life. So it's all about helping that person transform health, body composition, and performance. And because of those factors, you're going to get higher prices. And again, lower prices when there's less of a model of client-centric and less of a focus on that being the main thing inside of the gym. And when you have newer coaches that are inexperienced, those are going to be the factors. Number 6 factor is going to drive personal training prices up or down in the South Seattle, Renton area. So the 7th factor, the last factor when it comes to personal training prices in Renton and South Seattle is risks, guarantees, flexibility. And when I say in risk and guarantees, like, are there any guarantees to the result of the product? For example, so we have a 14-day results in advance program, which is essentially a trial where you experience us for 14 days. You get access to all our classes, team training, small group personal training, as well as 2 semi-private personal training sessions per week. And if you don't believe that we delivered on our promise, we give you your money back. You can ask for a refund, no questions asked, no signing tons of paperwork, this, that, and the other, because we want to know that you're a great fit and that you enjoy Vigor Ground, because again, it's not for everybody. We've had close to 5,000 people that have loved it, have got transformations here, but some people prefer a different gym, and that's okay. But I think this is an important factor. So if you have no kind of guarantees, no kind of protection against risk, your price is going to be lower and opposite is going to be higher. And then flexibility is an even bigger one. Meaning, is it easy to reschedule? Do you lose sessions and you have very little flexibility on that side of things? So, for example, I think that, semi-private personal training creates more flexibility than one-on-one personal training does, because with one-on-one personal training, the coach and the gym has a lot less times that they can maneuver with, right? So if something happens in your day and, you have to cancel your session, you might lose that session because again, that coach was there. They blocked out that one-on-one hour for you. And because of that, it's fair for them to get paid for their time, but you might not be able to use that session. With the semi-private personal training, because it's more flexible and there may be 2 to 4 different, clients at that same time, you may be able to come at a later time and still be perfectly fine and not lose your session, be able to get your session in. It's easier to make your adjustment schedule because there are more available times for you because of the model. And so again, that also can drive a higher price rather than lower price. When things are very, very, very rigid and there's just no guarantees for anything, that's going to drive a lower price. And usually that happens too with less experience, because gyms and personal trainers that have a track record, that have experience, that have results, again, are going to be able to do some of those things. So those are the 7 different factors that drive prices higher and or lower. And I broke down in an article, even in more detail, all those different things and shared some of what we do at Vigor Ground Fitness and Performance. One of the things that I found and been through the research is that our semi-private personal training rates shift somewhere between $48 to $58 per session when you break it down, which is one of the highest values for which you receive here at Vigor Ground. And our mission was to make personal training more available to more people. One-on-one personal training at an average of $110 a session in this area. Once you end up doing even just 2 sessions a week, once you add taxes, you're looking at $1,000 a month. And that usually does not include open gym access, doesn't include, I would say, nutritional coaching, support outside of the gym and training sessions and everything else. And it's just not available to as many people. Whereas something like semi-private personal training, which is what our mission here at Vigor Ground, would make it available to more people so that they can get the benefits of that training. Having a coach, having a mentor is essentially like having a Sherpa that guides you to Everest, right? But it's your Everest. If your Everest is losing 50 pounds, improving your blood work, building your confidence, getting stronger, improving your health and performance, the Sherpa, the coach, guides you to that Everest because he's been there, she's been there many times before guiding others. And that's what makes them the Sherpa. And our mission was to make, expert high-level personal training available to more people. And we've succeeded in that. And we'd love for you to, and we'd be honored for you to give us an opportunity to help you with your transformation. And you can check us out at vigorgroundfitness.com. And again, try us out. And we can't wait to see you inside of Vigor Ground.